Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the FW-190 D13, a currently Tier 4 5.0 BR fighter that exists as a premium pack vehicle for the German Air Force's tech tree. In this video, I'll be going over everything that you need to know about it, including its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses. I'll give some scores in several key areas, and then I'll give my final recommendation on if I feel that this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. As always, please consider subscribing if you'd like more content like this, especially if you like guides, reviews, Dora the Explorer, history videos, and more. But without further ado, let's get into the review. To start, as always, I'll place its stats here on this side of the screen. Notable stats are its top speed, rate of climb, and peak altitude. Now for how it plays. This is both a prototypical and stereotypical boom and zoom aircraft. It has a great top speed, excellent climb rate, and one of the best dive rates in War Thunder, all combined with a very good 3MG 151 20mm cannon armament. Because of these features, the FW-190 D13 can easily climb to around bomber altitude and act as either an interceptor or, better yet, a boom and zoomer, taking out enemies that decided to stay low. The D13, otherwise known as the Dora, can catch up with or easily outrun essentially any plane that it will encounter, sans maybe 6.0 BR plus super props. Because of this, the Dora can easily swoop down, take out an enemy, and gain altitude to rinse and repeat the process. You can even chase down enemies that are running away and will typically catch up with them. Aside from this, however, the Dora has good but not great maneuverability that will largely depend on your speed. If you are moving fairly slowly, such as maybe 300 or even 350 kilometers per hour and below, the Dora will not turn well. Beyond 400 kilometers per hour, and it can maneuver with the best of them. Although planes like the Spitfire, Mustang, and most Japanese fighters will be able to outturn you regardless, unless of course that you're at high altitude. Speaking of, though it isn't often achieved, the D13 functions much better at high altitude than almost every other prop plane in War Thunder, and as such, if you happen to find yourself beyond 5 or even 6,000 meters, you should be able to outperform enemy planes in essentially every category. Aside from this, you can carry 4 50-kilogram bombs and a single 500-kilogram bomb, but this loadout will kill your performance and will grant you very little in return if you somehow make it to an enemy base and are able to bomb it. I do not recommend carrying bombs on the D13 in air RB, it's just not a good idea. Now for ground RB, your role is that of a fighter bomber. The D13 can carry up to 8 50-kilogram bombs, which is not an advised loadout, or up to 4 50-kilogram bombs and either a single 250 or, better yet, 500-kilogram bomb in the center, depending on how many spawn points you have to burn. In this way, you can just drop down and try to land the bombs as closely to the enemy as possible. Unfortunately, barring a direct hit or landing near a lightly armored vehicle, the 50-kilogram bombs are almost useless, while the 250-kilogram or, better yet, the 500-kilogram bomb will amount to a kill fairly often. Typically, you can expect a kill or two per match with somewhat competent bomb dropping abilities. Beyond this, though, the 20mm MG151 cannons are also decent at strafing, especially against lightly armored ground vehicles and SPAA, though they're almost useless otherwise. Because of this, and because of the iffy bomb load, the D13 is best played as a quick strike fighter, honing in on 1 or 2 enemy tanks and then providing air cover, as the Dora is far better suited to shooting at enemy planes than it is to destroying ground vehicles. And now for its strengths and weaknesses, and I'll start off with its strengths. First, it has a great multi-purpose armament of 3 MG151 20mm cannons with 250 rounds each. While they are fantastic at destroying fighters and interceptors, they are still plenty potent enough to knock out bombers, and with the correct ammo belts, can successfully strafe against lightly armored ground vehicles. These cannons are even more effective than one might think because they are nose and wing root mounted, allowing for minimal issues dealing with convergence. Second, it has excellent speed, acceleration, rate of climb, and dive speed, all factors that make this into a fantastic boom and zoom aircraft. For its third strength, it has a phenomenal roll rate, allowing you to shift your energy extremely quickly in battle, as well as helping you to avoid enemy fire. Fourth, it has great energy retention in a turn. For its fifth strength, it can handle a larger amount of damage compared to most fighters. Beyond this, it also has excellent high altitude performance that's more or less unmatched by other planes around this BR. And for its final strength, it has premium RP and SL bonuses, actually a really good SL bonus for its BR. With all that said, let's get into its weaknesses. Now first, it doesn't have an absolutely poor ground attack loadout, with options for several bombs up to of course the 500 kilogram bomb, but it lacks rockets and is mediocre in terms of overall carrying capacity. It's not terrible in this role, it's just mediocre. Second, while maneuverability is actually pretty decent, at least at higher speeds, the Dora can still be easily outturned by Spitfires, Zeros, Mustangs, and other lighter fighters. And finally, it is extremely prone to engine damage, which may make it difficult to return to base if you are damaged. Now with all this out of the way, let's get into how I score this vehicle. And first, for dogfighting and the air battles, I give the D13 a 7.75 out of 10. The D13 has tremendous performance and armament, both of which lend greatly to air battles. The Dora can outrun, outgun, and depending on speed and altitude, outturn most planes that it will come across. On the flip side, if not in ideal circumstances, the maneuverability of the Dora leaves something to be desired, and it can feel heavy compared to more nimble fighters. Regardless, this is the type of plane that can always have a shot at being the highest scoring plane in a match. Now for close air support, I give it a 4 out of 10. The D13 has a very typical bomb load for a German fighter bomber, and as such, feels a bit limited when fighting enemy tanks. The 50 kilogram bombs, of which will be the majority of the bombs that you can carry, are largely ineffective, while you will only have a single 500 kilogram bomb that can do any sort of consistent damage to enemy forces. Additionally, the D13 lacks rockets, which, while not terrible in that it doesn't have them, it takes away some versatility that players might enjoy. The best role in close air support, as outlined earlier in this review, is to drop your bombs quickly on enemy forces and then transition to an air cover role, while occasionally strafing vulnerable ground vehicles, as this is where the D13, and for that matter, most German fighters shine insofar as ground battles are concerned. Now overall, I give this plane a 6.75 out of 10. The FW190 D13 is a fantastic fighter when playing to its strengths. When done properly, it can be one of the best planes in any given match, and can destroy fighters, bombers, and any other type of plane that it sees. On the other hand, its close air support capability is mediocre, and while serviceable, leaves much to be desired. As such, planes like the regular tech tree FW190 F8 and the premium tech tree D0335B2 are much better suited to this role, while also being competent versus aircraft as well. As a note, I place a much greater emphasis on how this plane dogfights than how it performs in close air support, as Air RB is how this plane will see the bulk of its playing time, and because that's what it was primarily designed to do, thus why I weighted the dogfighting and air battle score quite a bit more in my overall score. With all this said, do I recommend this vehicle? Yes, I do. While I'm not in love with it as much as I thought that I would be, the FW190 D13 provides a familiar punch to the face that one can expect from the Butcher Bird, or really any German fighter around this BR for that matter. It performs excellently in air battles, notching kills with ease, while also being subpar in ground battles, though of course this is to be expected. Regardless, it can at least still fill that role in a pinch if need be. With all this said, again, I do recommend this plane and give it my Tankenstein seal of approval, although I do feel that the Wyvern is a better choice if comparing similarly priced premium pack planes, though I will still place the Dora over the Mustang pack, Spitfire pack, and the TU1 packs. The sky is the limit quite literally with this plane, and it has a home in the hangars of both new and experienced players alike. It can hold your hand while also throwing the emergency brake out the window if need be. The Dora is a fantastic plane and encapsulates everything great about the famed FW190 series of planes. Now with all that said, please let me know what you thought about this video and of the D13 in the comments below. Please also consider liking and subscribing if you like this type of content. Either way, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.